Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video I'm going to paint my shed, and I've decided to utilize the Avanti HVLP electric paint sprayer that comes from Harbor Freight. So if you're interested in how well one of these perform, stick around, watch me paint the shed, and at the end I'll give you my opinion on just how well they work and whether or not it's something you should purchase. So I guess we'll begin with a quick unboxing and see what all this comes with. We have the paint sprayer cup that holds the paint. This is the front part of the sprayer. So this is your trigger here. It looks like this twists and locks into the back end of the gun. This guy here that looks like a funnel is actually a viscosity measurement tool. So they tell you to strain the paint into a cup, fully submerge this so that it's filled to the top, lift it up, and time how long it takes for it to empty. And it needs to be less than 50 seconds according to the book. And you got a brush for cleanup and an extra air filter that goes into the back of the gun, back here behind that blue housing. So the directions for thinning the paint, it's pretty cheesy if you ask me. Again, they tell you to dunk that cup here, fill it to the top, pull it up, and time it based on the chart. And that's the chart, which it just lists all types of paint that you would probably use in this, and says it needs to strain empty in under 50 seconds. Alright, and excuse the noise. I am running this off my generator, so what you're hearing right now is the generator running. I'm going to do a couple test sprays right on the front in the open, see what it looks like, try to dial the flow in. If it looks like it's going to work with the consistency and the flow, then I'm going to spray all the white. So I'm going to show you the final results. Try to get up close here. You know, it's just latex paint on a wooden shed, so not a lot to show. All right, final results on the Avanti HVLP spray gun from Harbor Freight. Again, El Cheapo $40 paint gun. Overall, I'm really happy with it. If you're in the market for a cheap paint gun, I'd recommend it. Did a good job. Super happy with the way my shed turned out. It's a little tricky to dial in the flow and viscosity of the paint. You know, the quality of the job that this gun is going to do is heavily dependent upon how well you mix your paint and how well you got your gun set up. Um, that being said, the directions give you almost no information regarding that. So they give you that little strainer cup thing that you're supposed to dunk and then time how long it takes the paint to empty out of it. And they just tell you that you need to mix it so that it drains in less than 50 seconds. That's really poor instructions because less than 50 seconds could be 49 seconds. It could also be 2 seconds. So I didn't even attempt to use that. It seemed rather pointless to me. What I did do is I looked up um, the dilution ratio, like recommended dilution ratio for latex paint when you're wanting to spray it. And what I found on Google is I think it was an eighth to a quarter cup of water per gallon of paint as a starting point. That's a very insignificant amount of water for a whole gallon of paint. So that told me that you don't want to go too crazy with dilution. So what I did is I used one of these mixing cups. This one came from Lowe's. You can get them from Lowe's. Walmart sells them. Any hardware store, I'm sure you can order them. But they've got these different graphs. So I just used a 9-to-1 ratio. Okay, so in the 9-to-1 ratio, you know, you fill your paint up if you want a full cup of paint. And this is a quart container, by the way. The gun holds 2 quarts, so I had to mix these up twice if I wanted the cup on the gun full. But anyways, you bring it up to the 11 line, and then you top it up with water to the second 11 line. And that's going to give you a 9-to-1 mixing ratio. The paint sprayed really well at a 9-to-1. When I painted the white trim, I did not do that. I just kind of guessed. And I got the paint too thin and it made a mess. Tons of overspray. It wanted to splatter. If you get the paint too thin, it's not going to want to, you're not going to be able to dial down the flow well enough um, for it to atomize properly. It'll want to throw like droplets. So if you're getting that, chances are your paint's too thin. If you can't eliminate getting like spray droplets, big drops of paint by dialing down your flow, then you've got your paint too thin. Now the opposite, if your paint's too thick and you keep increasing the flow, but you're getting very inconsistent spray pattern, so like it'll spray, but then it'll skip a little bit. You'll get like these split seconds where nothing comes out. The paint's too thick. But again, my paint that I used was old. I think a gallon of paint. Well, I had a gallon and a half of it. So I think that stuff had been sitting in my basement for a few years. So I shook it up real well and used it. So it might have been thicker from sitting, but a 9-to-1 ratio worked really well for me. And that's what I recommend you try. And then you just need to practice a little bit with it to get your flow dialed in right. So start with very little flow and just keep increasing it. So you want what you're looking for is you're looking for the paint to spray consistently, but not to splatter and not to get a ton of overspray. But again, overall, as a $40 gun, it's a fantastic tool. Uh, not sorry I bought it. I'll be using it for other things. Probably use it to paint my kitchen cabinets. Um, on like a thinner paint, like an automotive grade paint, I don't think that this is the right tool. And it's not marketed for that. But I see YouTube videos where people use not necessarily this gun, but other brands that are the same style um, for painting cars. Yeah, I don't think this gun is the gun for you if that's what you're wanting to do. But for porches, decks, fences, sheds, cabinet, woodworking type stuff, or maybe you're going to paint your house. Um, for real big projects, you're going to want something with a separate tank, I would say. Um, the 48-ounce cup keeps you pretty busy on bigger projects with refilling it. That's one other tip, probably the last thing I'm going to give you. Um, maybe go with a bigger container than this. Maybe get half-gallon mixing cups. And if you think that you're going to be spraying like a whole gallon of paint or something, whether it's 4 quarts or 2 half-gallons or even a gallon container or whatever, mix up more than enough paint. That way you're ready to go. That way when the cup runs out, you can grab another one of these containers, shake it a little bit, open the cup on the paint sprayer, pour it in, and go. I didn't do that, so I would be in the middle of painting and then I'd have to stop and try to mix paint. Um, that was something I learned that is not really proper. You definitely want to have all your stuff mixed and ready to go. Otherwise, if you're in the market for a cheap paint gun, I'd say give this a try. Did a pretty good job for me.